Who I am is not an easy answer, but put simply, I'm a mother of 4 children and a dog and a loving, caring wife. I am 52, and I'm not afraid to announce this because getting old is great. Every experience is a learning opportunity. I love life, and everything I do is with passion and affection. I decided from the beginning to leave a trace wherever I go and whatever I do, to commit with full passion. 1948 Nakba, 1967 Naksa, and the Oslo Agreement indicated Jerusalem's fate and that the Israelis had plans to control the city entirely. So when Yabous Cultural Centre was formed in 1995 to revive the cultural life in Jerusalem, it was the start of a challenge, an impossible task, to keep Jerusalem, our Palestinian capital, on the map. There was no support, no funding, building something from nothing, but our dreams, efforts, and vision. Over 28 years, we created a strong cultural foundation with thousands of cultural programs, and Yabous became one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. However, the challenges have become bigger and bigger. There are difficulties with the Israeli occupation who control the city. They control the approvals and license to the center. They try to control every small detail. To remain true to our values, vision, and mission, and to our aims of preserving our cultural national identity, we disagree with some international donors' agenda, so we do not accept their support or funds. We are prohibited from working with so many talented Palestinian artists from West Bank or Gaza, as after the apartheid wall was built in 2002, they could not travel to Jerusalem except with special permit from the Israeli occupation. I'm from Bethlehem, living in Jerusalem on a family unification permit. This means any Palestinian holding Palestinian ID, as other Palestinians from the West Bank, my ID card is green. Falling in love and getting married to a Palestinian from Jerusalem, a Jerusalemite who has a blue ID card, is forbidden by law. So my personal situation is unstable. There have been many threats by Israeli authorities to revoke my family reunification permit if I do not stop working at Yabous or being cultural activist. Yabous Center was raided several times, and military orders were given to stop cultural activities under security reasons. And the latest was the raid on Yabous and the National Conservatory of Music, and arresting me and my husband, Suhail Khouri, the composer and director of the National Conservatory of Music. Our only crime was, and still is, promoting Palestinian culture. It was 9 o'clock in the morning when the police and secret services invaded our home on the 22nd of July 2020. I woke up my children and told them not to be afraid. They searched our home, confiscated our papers, education certificates, our photos, our passports. They stormed as well Yabous Center, confiscating all documents and computers and loading it into their cars. My interrogation lasted 12 hours, and when I was released on bail, I was banned from speaking to anyone from Yabous for a month, including the board of directors. I was banned of reaching Yabous or even walking in the street near Yabous for 1 month and a half. Since then, The Israeli authorities have not stopped calling and questioning me. We recovered confiscated computers, documents, and files, but some were lost as well. There is no official crime to charge us with. So they work in a roundabout way through intimidation, obstructing our path, and attempt to break our morale. On the 18th of October, 2022, they invaded our home early morning at 5:30. It was one of the hardest days of my life. The panic and fear we felt when they brutally hit the door, ringing the doorbell constantly, entering the house and said, "We have an order to arrest Shadi." Shadi, the youngest of my children, 16 years old. What did they want from a child? The most difficult was their violent and barbaric style. In their assault on Shadi by severely beating him in the face and nose, putting him on the ground, and 4 policemen on top of him, he kept screaming, "I cannot breathe." The blood was over his room, on the floor. They took him blindfolded and handcuffed, barefoot in his pajama, and he was screaming from beating and assaults. They did not allow us to save him from being beaten, from approaching him. Rather, they attacked us and threatened us with weapons. The helplessness we felt, but not being able to save our son while he was being beaten and blood was everywhere. Who can bear this pain? What humanity in this? Which democratic country practices this violation against children? Why? He was kept in prison for 41 days. Since his release, 27th of November 2022, he has been under house arrest, not allowed to leave the house, not even allowed to go to school. We, as his parents, have to play the role of a jailer on behalf of the Israeli occupation authorities. 15 courts so far. They keep denying him, a child, his basic human rights. This is the only democratic country in the Middle East, Israel, that claim that they respect the Convention on the Rights of the Child. When you have more than 160 Palestinian minors in Israeli detention, imagine? So yes, the challenges in Jerusalem are huge for Palestinians, for cultural activists, for cultural centers, for children, for women and youth as well. And for sure, they cannot stand a strong Palestinian woman who leads an institution that thrives, who can speak to the media and has relations with thousands of people around the world. A Palestinian woman who defies the stereotype they wish to paint and who works to plant the seeds of belonging, love, humanity, hope, justice for the people and for Jerusalem and for Palestine.